Hey, it's your boy the Crypto Goon, and shout out to all my crypto goons for pulling up once again. The Genius Act just passed. Now, before I get to XLM and XRP, I just want to speak on that really quick. I'm actually going to go through the Genius Act. As of right now, Congress has only published drafts from like February and several months this year. But what really matters is what Trump is planning to sign today. So I'm definitely going to do a video about it. I'm definitely going to go through it. I don't read summaries. I read the entire bill and definitely get an understanding of what is actually going on. I think it's important, especially for those of us that are really involved in the cryptocurrency community. Now, on the XRP and XLM, the Fed has just implemented ISO 20022 and have moved forward with implementing this worldwide. Okay, so what we're looking at is the Federal Reserve Bank Services website, and you always want to get your information from the source. I know a lot of websites and Instagram pages and YouTube pages always talk about this stuff and say certain things that that the Federal Reserve is doing or the federal government is doing, and sometimes it's not always true. There's really no source, but this is straight from the source, right? So as you can see here, FRFS adopted the ISO 20022 message format for the Fed Wire Funds Service in a single day implementation strategy on July 14th, 2025. With this implementation, we sunset the existing proprietary FedWire application interface manual format and replaced all FAIM messages with ISO 20022 messages. Okay. And then they have information, education on it, checklists, applications. This is a lot of this is really for, banks, to get an understanding and, of course us too. Right. So the ISO 20022, that's XRP, that's XLM, that's HBAR, that's XDC. There are a few others, but this is actually great, right? So this shows that there is something there with their technology. Now, I've spoken in the past, the majority of cryptocurrencies are pure garbage. They're pure shit. I think that we will have a day of reckoning where 99% of them go to zero. This is just a part of the cycle. We saw this for anybody that's old enough, like myself. Today's my birthday. I turned 38 years old, so I was around for the dot-com bubble burst. I know a lot of the executives that were a part of this. It's just a part of the cycle. Coins that actually have real world utility will be around 20 years from now. Now on the XRP, so I just want to throw this in here also. What we're looking at is Google Trends on YouTube Trends, the search trends. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know, if you want to be able to know, or if you want to know where the top is, once we reach the top, you have to look at this. You have to check this out. So right now we're looking at XRP. The best time to get in a lot of these is when it's under 25. This is the search volume. And as you can see, we're heading up to a 72. It says value for this point have partial or incomplete data available. That's because we haven't reached the 19th yet. Now, if you look at this, any top, okay, is when the market turns. That's when it comes down. This is when, so right now the dumb money hasn't entered the chat yet. The dumb money generally enters at the height of the hype. Okay. So if we look at this, this is December 1st through the 7th of 2024. This is when XRP touched 100 as far as interest over time. Okay. So if we go to the monthly and we go to December of 2024 right here. Okay, that's when we reached the top and then we came down. Now we actually went sideways, but the average dumb money person, when it came down and it just sat down here for a while, they exited at a loss. Okay, so if we come back over here and we go to XLM, let's type in XLM, right? So right now XLM is at a 90. So we are very close to the top before XLM reaches a new high and turns around. Okay, so if we go right here, December of 2024, right? XLM reached 100. So if we go to December of 2024, that is right here. And what happened? The dumb money enters when it reaches 100 and then they get dunked on. Okay. Now, granted, for anybody that held, they're probably back at break even by now after a couple months. But it is what it is. Okay. So this is just something that I just want to throw in there. This is Google Trends and this is the YouTube search. You can also go to the web search. It is very similar. Okay. This is when people are looking it up, getting excited. And once it reaches 100, that's when they hit Instagram, TikTok and all that, most likely an all-time high. And then that is when we will have a liquidation event happen. That is when whales take profit and everybody else becomes liquidity. We've actually, broken this previous high. Shout out to everybody held XRP. This is stuff that we've been talking about. I know the market cap boys are upset, but with XRP, we've been in this triangle pattern for a while. We broke out. This was back in 2024 around November. And then since then, we've been in the sideways, a triangle pattern. If you're new here, triangle patterns, Fibonacci, that's what I do. You can actually go on my trading view. You can watch my previous videos. It makes it a lot easier to take entry and understand where these things and kind of when they're going to break out. And you can take the best position and take advantage of the upside on these things or the downside, depending on if you like to short cryptocurrencies, which I do as well, right, on the spot market. So right now, we've pretty much created a new high. Right now, we're just sitting at $3.45. And we're looking for a lot more from this upside. Now, we previously broke out of this large bullish triangle pattern. Okay, we're looking for a larger move up. Now, I have the Fibonacci reversed, right? So if you're using TradingView, you click on the settings. There's a reverse button. Okay, I can reverse the Fibonacci. So for XRP, we're looking for $59.17. I know that upsets the market cap boys, but it is what it is. This technology will be implemented across the board, in multiple different ways. Obviously, we know Ripple's opening up their own bank. So this is something that is valuable. And in the future, it will be something that will be rare, like Bitcoin. Reason being, every time there's a transaction on the XRP ledger, some of the XRP tokens are burned. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to look at, right? We saw when we broke out back in 2017, this is probably when I first bought XRP. We had this large bull run. Okay. Now, one thing that I like to do is measure the bull runs just to see if, to confirm that the Fibonacci is on point, which it always is for the 141. I don't go past the 141. There's the 161. It gets a little weird with the 161. It's almost like, doing a 25 leg parlay on FanDuel. So if we look at this and we put it at the base of this first move up, okay, this puts us past the 161. But just to be safe, I'm aiming for the 141. I believe the technology is that valuable. And again, I'm just looking to extract money out of this thing. A lot of people, I don't get married to any crypto because there will always be a new or better technology born tomorrow. And we even see this with on the American Stock Exchange. Some technologies and companies become obsolete because something better comes along. It's almost like if anybody remembers when we had dial-up internet, we had America Online, right? It was amazing that it took 20 minutes to get on the internet, and then you on the internet like, oh my God, I can't believe this. But then, 10, 15, 20 years later, then we had, what was it, DSL? I can't think of the exact name. It was very similar to dial-up, but it's a little bit faster. And then dial-up became thing of the past. Now we got, Fios and all this other stuff that's a lot faster. So, these things happen, right? But for me, I'm looking for the 141. Even when we hit this all-time high, it's just me. I took some profits because what I'm looking for it to happen, right, on XRP, and anybody that understands the structure of the markets, you generally have large moves up. You have a slight pullback like this. And then, the markets, they just kind of do their thing like this, right? We'll reach a crazy all-time high like this $59, and then it'll sink and come to a base like this, right? And then that's when, you buy more, right? So we call it market corrections, right? And if you don't know what a correction is, it looks like this, okay? And then even if we measure this correction, right, if we hit $59 and we go into the same size correction as this, where does it put us, right? Right back in this area, okay? Not saying that it's gonna go from $59 to $3, but in the cryptocurrency market, it's definitely possible. We've seen these things go up 500% and then drop off 700%. It is what it is. It's volatility, right? And we take advantage of that volatility. And again, for anybody watching, I normally do replays in my videos. I probably won't put one in here, but if you go back and look at my old videos, we're able to use these patterns and the Fibonacci to pretty much figure out where these things are going and, when is a good time to get in. All right. So XLM, the vibes. So again, even with XLM, now I have a long-term target and I got a short-term target with XLM. So the short term, all right, so let's talk about that. Again, using the Fibonacci, it's already reversed. So $1.48, as you can see right here. Now we are already at, currently we are at, oh shit. Currently we are at 47 cents. So hopefully we break out of, and we should break out of this current bullish triangle pattern. So on the short term, around $1.40. Now long term, okay, my long term on XLM is let me bring this down. It's $14.46. Okay, again, XLM is also a decent technology. They aren't making the same crazy moves as XRP, and that's okay. But you know, there is room for them to fit, because we see, you know, Ripple and the XRP movement, they're moving on to higher things, right? You know, opening up banks. They want to be able to service not just individuals, but also the commercial side too, businesses, right? You know, entire countries, which is cool. XLM is more so focused on the individual, right? The smaller guy, the smaller company, which is, it's all good. So, you know, it's a great technology, very similar. The speed is almost the same. The average person won't be able to even tell the difference in the speed. Obviously, there's a tiny micro difference, but the average person won't be able to tell as far as the speed and the cost to actually use the technology to send money back and forth. And you know, I've used both of them. I've tested both of them. You know, it's, the average person won't be able to tell. Okay, it's pretty much almost instant, very close to being instant when it comes to sending money. So again, keeping an eye on XLM, and I'm looking for it to break out of this bullish triangle pattern and set a new all-time high. The previous all-time high being around 89 cents or so, and we're currently trading at 47 cents. In crypto, that's nothing. You know, we can, that can be broken in a day. It had a little bit of trouble this week getting up there, but as you can see, we're hitting this line, this triangle pattern line, and we're bouncing off. Okay, we're hitting it, bouncing off. But at some point, we will break through. This is the monthly chart, so as long as we close and stay above it, we're looking good. And again, when it comes to triangle patterns, it's all about pattern recognition. You can go on Google, look these things up, analyze them, learn about it. Especially if you're somebody that, you know, I extract money from these markets every day. You can call me a day trader, whatever you want to call it. Of course, I have off exchange holdings that, you know, that I hold on to, but some I take profits too, right? So like even on this move right here, when we, you know, and I've been talking about this on my channel for months. When we broke out of this and we came up, I took some profits. I wait for it to go up and then have a pullback. They always pull back. They always go into what I call a correction. And again, if you don't know what a correction is, that is this. Okay, so we'll see large moves up, and then we'll have, you know, we'll go into these corrections, which that is the time to buy more and look for the patterns. Right now, let me also say this: not every cryptocurrency is going to go crazy in this next cycle. We've had a lot that have gone crazy, like the SUI went nuts months ago, you know, so it's all about looking for the patterns. You know, once you figure out the patterns, you can take advantage of it. And again, let me just say this, 'cause I know a lot of people in the cryptocurrency community are cult-like, okay? I don't get married to any of these cryptocurrencies. The way I treat them, the way I move in the market is as if these motherfuckers are going to go to zero tomorrow. That's just me. My philosophy doesn't have to be yours, but I'm just saying, people like to argue about this and about that in the comment section. I don't care about none of that shit. The only thing I care about is making money, taking money out of these markets. That's it. I don't give a fuck about the technology. I don't give a fuck about how anybody feels about it. Look, we're just here to make money. Everything else is irrelevant. I'm not arguing with nobody about the technology, okay? At the end of the day, at some point, a lot of this shit will become redundant because there will be new and better. Every day there's a new one, new and better every day, okay? You know, that's just the reality of some of these cryptocurrency companies. You know, one day everybody's on this one, then they become a cult follower of this one, right? So it is what it is. That's why I don't marry any of them, because the way technology is moving so fast, you know, there will be a better technology tomorrow. But today we're going to take advantage of what we can take advantage of, get the money out, and do what we got to do with the money. Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to just talk about the ISO and how things are starting to unfold. something that a lot of us have known for the past couple years and have been waiting for. It is finally here with the Genius Act, and I'll be back with the Genius Act as soon as the final approved and signed bill is available to read. I'm going to read through it. I'll probably do a video reading through it just so everybody can have some kind of understanding and clarity. And when it comes to bills, I do not like reading summaries. I want to know what's actually in the bill. That is what a lot of people just kind of glance over. And when something happens, you know, you didn't have an understanding of something, well, you didn't read the bill. Okay. Now, I appreciate you all tapping in. It's the one, never the two. You know the vibes. Crypto Goon. I appreciate you all tapping in. Crypto Goon out.